Welcome to Trading Nation. I'm Sara Eisen. Stocks are getting slammed today, Tuesday, and our next guest doesn't see it as a reason to head into the bear camp. Joined now by Robert Shiller, Yale economics professor and Nobel Prize winner in economics. Professor Shiller, nice to see you.
My pleasure.
Why are you not writing off the market right now?
Well, as a good academic, I have to recognize that it's not easily forecasted. Also, there's a long historical trend. The market has done well. On the other hand, I have a little worries too. These things develop their own narrative, and they develop their own dynamics. A drop like today, based on some news that doesn't seem obviously relevant, will lead people to think and worry, and it could continue. It could come down. The market is highly priced.
But bottom line, why do you say that the bull market should resume? What makes you optimistic?
I'm not highly optimistic. I'm thinking that we've seen an overpriced stock market, and we've seen concerns about that for years now. The CAPE ratio that I talk about is not anywhere close to the highest level it has had in the year 2000. I think there is kind of a Trump feeling that there is a sort of optimism about the markets under Trump. And that's still continuing. I don't see a reason to think that it's about to change. But I don't know what it's going to do. And remember in January, February, we had this actual correction in the stock market. And again, it was on no particular news. And some people were starting to get really worried, but then it stopped. These things are just very hard to predict.
Does the Trump effect, as you describe it, make sense to you, that the market should go up on this idea that the president is a businessman from the business world who vowed to cut regulations and lower taxes?
Well, it doesn't make sense from a efficient markets theory, because the market should have gone up once when he was elected in November of 2016 and stayed there. But it hasn't. It's been a gradual trend up. It's more psychological, I think, that there's something about how the world is reacting to the president, something about his self-confidence, which is gradually lifting our spirits. But it's not a very reliable thing,
Yeah.
I wish I could forecast the market with accuracy, but I really believe in diversification, and that this is a time to, if you have been overexposed to the United States in your portfolio, this is a time to reconsider that. Not to pull out, but to balance things.
Globally, you're saying?
Yes. Now, Europe looks troubled. We got news today about Italy that is troubling. On the other hand, Europe is cheaper than the U.S. So I think moving toward portfolio toward Europe would, if you're highly concentrated in the U.S., would be a sensible thing to do, not overreacting.
You would tell investors, despite some of the big political risks out there around Italy and a potential election that could be about Euroscepticism, Europe still looks cheap.
It still looks cheap, and it has a great history. Italy has a 2,000-year-old history of civilization. I'm still optimistic for them. Hey, I don't know. I'm thinking, though, it can't be wrong to diversify and hold some of that.
Yes. Do you still think that Bitcoin will face extinction in the next 100 years? Is that what you tell your students?
I like that. That's a good round number, 100 years. That's how long our young people in college can expect to live, extrapolating medical progress.
There you go.
So will Bitcoin. I'm thinking Bitcoin won't look anything like it is today. It'll have a different name if it exists. There will have been many hard forks changing it and changing it. and it'll be a matter of dispute whether it exists or not. But one scenario is that something like what happened after 2013 when the Bitcoin topped 1,000 and then lost 80% of its value. It looked like Bitcoin was just fading away. That's one scenario. But it's again so hard to predict these things. And I don't mean to be dismissive of Bitcoin. It looks like a bubble, but it's getting people enthusiastic, and they're making different kinds of cryptocurrencies. There's thousands of them now. Something good may come out of this.
Do your students, are they interested in it? Do they ask you about it?
They're very interested. In fact, I had one student who asked me if he could keep his laptop during our final exam because he wanted to be sure he could make a trade on Bitcoin. So
did you let him?
That's a new first for me. That shows real enthusiasm. I told him, okay, if it's so important to you, you can trade during the final exam.
That was nice of you. Professor Bob Shiller, thank you very much for weighing in on all things markets, behavior, and of course, Bitcoin. Robert Shiller from Yale. And thank you all for watching Trading Nation. I'm Sara Eisen. We'll see you next time.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.